guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to talk about something that I think is a recurring theme, but that we haven't discussed so much in a particular way, which I'm going to get into. In the past, we've seen people, and even in the present, we constantly see people oversharing on the internet. And now if you're an adult, how much you share is up to you. That also means that how people react is how people react when you put that stuff out there. So the consequences are potentially devastating based on what you share. And if you're a child, obviously, there should be very particular guidelines on what you share for your own safety. That being said, I think the stereotype so far has been that the oversharers are kids, teenagers, and young adults. Like generally the demographic I think of when I think of the oversharing stereotype, someone on Twitter who's probably between 18 and 30 who just like overshares probably at some random hour of the night and just really goes out there putting out information. Now, I don't think oversharing is necessarily always the end of the world, but the reason I want to talk about it today is that I feel like we don't really talk about oversharing from the other side, as in like parents or people from the older generation who also do the same thing, because like I said, the stereotype is that it's millennials or overall just like young people. Before you do that, I did want to thank today's sponsor, which is Vessie. Vessie makes 100% waterproof shoes out of a dual climate knit material named Dymatex. This material ensures that you remain cool in the summer and hot in the winter. On top of this, they're easy to clean with water, and the weekend shoes even go in the washing machine. They're also sustainably made and use no animal byproducts, so they're vegan. These are the types of sneakers you leave by the door because you know you're gonna wear them out. I personally love Vessie because of their minimalistic design. On top of that, I love the white soles and that the black isn't solid but has dark grays in it as well. And living in a place where it's been snowing with winter storms, having sneakers that are waterproof and comfortable is key. They've kept my feet warm without the need of thick socks like boots, which also take longer to put on. Especially for the rainy and snowy season, Vessies are my go-to shoes by the door. Check them out at the link below and use my code on the screen to get $25 off your Vessie shoes. Thank you to Vessie for sponsoring this video. So this entire topic came to mind when I saw a viral tweet in which was featured a TikTok of a mother reacting to her son getting a Valentine's Day gift for his girlfriend. I'll just put the TikTok here. Now, understandably, I'm pretty sure you can guess how people online reacted to this. I think the caption on the tweet I saw, because there were multiple ones, was like gross or weird or something like that. I was creeped out by the video. I thought it was really creepy. Then again, I've always had a very particular aversion, I think most people do, to parents who are overprotective to a degree where it almost becomes alarming, because in my mind, there's the overprotective parent who essentially just locks their kid in, you know, who doesn't let them have their freedom, who never wants them to go out. Like, that's one degree of it. And then there's another degree where it's overprotective, but in very certain areas of their lives. Like, you know, we see in movies like the overprotective father who doesn't want the daughter to go out with some guy, which in some ways can be framed as endearing, because until it's protective and not overprotective, that's normal, right? Because no one in their family wants the rest of their family that they love to get hurt. Duh. But then in movies, we also see the overprotective father who doesn't want his daughter to date anyone and who is like weirdly protective of his daughter's virginity, which is a whole topic I could scream about for years. This TikTok reminded me a little bit of when T.I. shared his daughter's personal information. If you guys remember, I think it was over a year ago now, T.I. was essentially airing out to the world that he would get his daughter's gynecologist to check for her hymen to see that she was still a virgin. We'll get more into that later, but let me just say that TikTok really reminded me of this. The comments were saying, you know, mirroring essentially what I'm saying to you, that like it's weird for a mother to be upset that her son is getting his girlfriend a gift for Valentine's Day, because after all, Valentine's Day is meant to be for your significant other, or Galentine's Day can be for your friends, but it's not meant for your parents. So it's a little weird to be hung up on that. But aside from that, to go through his stuff also and assume it's for you when you know he has a girl, I just thought that was really weird. Now, there were some people who were making insinuations that I thought were inappropriate. Like there were some people who were insinuating that some kind of incest was going on, or that she was molesting her son or things like that. And that I find completely a just crazy assumption. That she's overprotective, if that's how she really is, yes. That there's a problem there, yes. But that doesn't mean that anything has really happened other than her displaying, frankly, toxic behavior, in my opinion. So I don't think throwing out those accusations was fair in the least, but people were questioning why are you mad that your son is celebrating his girlfriend? If anything, it shows that she raised him right to celebrate his girlfriend on a day where you celebrate your significant other. Okay, after that, quite a while after that, because I think it took a while for that TikTok to blow up, she posted another TikTok. I think that's taking it too far. I think you can say something seems off and that is enough, because I do think something seems off, that isn't really, you know, any accusation. But she was claiming that this TikTok was like a whole joke, that it was not serious, so on and so forth, which most people were like, yeah, if it was a joke, where was the joke? And also, like, why has it taken you like multiple different uploads before you even addressed it? And then in the caption of the original TikTok, it says something like, I said what I said. And to be honest, if it was a joke, I don't get it. I mean, like, I'm not here to be the joke police, okay? If that's your joke and you think it's hilarious, no one's stopping you. But at the same time, like I said, when you put things on the internet, you're opening yourself up to people reacting. And most people who reacted did not think that was funny, and also were concerned because, again, it showed some level of very strange mother-son relationship coming from the mother's end. After that, I think she started to kind of thrive on that negative attention. I do think there was probably quite a bit of hurt when accusations were thrown at her of like incest or abusing her son, which is understandable. But I think after a while, she just, you know, did what most people do when you get a significant amount of hate. I think she kind of decided to brush it off, but then did something that I think makes you get even more hate, ironically, which is post a TikTok like this. Now, the reason I'm talking about it is not only because I found the first TikTok alarming, whether it's a joke or not. I don't know where the punch was. I don't know where the haha bit was, whatever. But I think it's interesting that we've gotten to this point where people have become, some people anyway, have become extremely, extremely comfortable posting things that, you know, maybe shouldn't exit the four walls of your home. I think there's a lot of positive that has come from this like oversharing, because I don't think it's oversharing when it's positive in the sense of like people opening up about mental health struggles, doctors, especially gynecologists, informing young people generally about how things work, what's normal, what's not normal, because that's still taboo. So like there's a lot of this like oversharing, and like I said, I'm just calling it that because it's stuff that wasn't typically shared when I was younger. Like I know my sex ed was like horrible, like they didn't tell you anything, and this would be considered oversharing to those teachers, if that makes sense. But there's also this other side where I think it gives certain people a level of comfort to just come out and display really toxic behaviors, and then when they are confronted with the fact that these behaviors are, you know, unhealthy or overall just not behaviors you should be sustaining, they get defensive. And in a way, it's good at the end of the day, kind of like the same way that it's good when pedophiles just are proud to be pedophiles because we know who they are. We can let the police know. We can get kids to block them, you know, like it's that double-edged sword, but at the same time, it's like you shouldn't really be proud of having something that is toxic that you're not working on, which I'm speaking on in the case of the mother. And like I said, it reminds me a bit of the situation with T.I. and his daughter, because there are plenty of articles saying where T.I.'s daughter, Deja, tears up addressing comments about going to her gynecologist appointments. It's just such an invasion of privacy. And I just felt like that was a similar thing, except that the mother was really kind of exposing herself more than her son, but I would feel so violated if my parent went into my room, looked through my stuff, found a gift, assumed it was for them, filmed themselves for the world to see that they thought they were getting a gift and then not getting it. It just feels like, what was the point of putting that online? You know, I'm no psychologist. I don't know what, you know, the science behind it is, but from the friends I had that had very overprotective parents, they almost always end up pushing their parents away and leaving as soon as they turn 18 because it was too much to bear. So like it can end up with you losing your children because you're trying to hold on to them so tight. Anyways, you guys can let me know what you think in the comments down below. Was it a joke? Was it not? What do you think about oversharing online? Do you think it's mostly positive, mostly negative? Let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you to my patrons. As always, let's get